Times Lois Griffin has been a terrible wife in Family Guy. If there was a list of the world's worst wives, I'm sure Lois Griffin would be top of that list. But you're probably wondering, how bad could it really be? Well, let me tell you, this lady cheats on her husband like she's changing her clothes. So, I've spent the past week digging through every shady thing Lois Griffin has ever done as Peter's worst half. And let's just say, it's really, really messy. From cheating on Peter with the president to becoming a drug addict, Lois has really tested Peter's limits. So stay tuned to see how staying married with Lois gets progressively harder for Peter Griffin. Sleeping with Bill. This lust story started when Bill Clinton popped up in Quahog for some politics thing, shaking hands and kissing some ass, and let's just say that Bill charmed the pants off the ladies. So, Lois decides to take things into her own hands.
Well, if he won't listen, I'm just gonna have to go talk to Bill Clinton myself.
Lois goes to give Bill an earful, but then this happens.
Wow, you certainly are very persuasive.
Yeah, she sleeps with Bill effing Clinton. And that too, while pretending she cares about Peter.
Sorry, Peter.
Lois?
It wasn't even a one-time thing because they banged multiple times.
What the hell was I thinking?
Well, as expected, Peter catches Lois in bed with Bill Clinton, and let's just say he's not very happy about it.
Peter! Look, I know this looks bad.
But wait until you hear how Lois tries to manipulate Peter and justifies her cheating. I mean, the woman is evil, and Meg should take some lessons from Lois because here's what she says.
I know nothing I could say to you could possibly justify why I slept with Bill except... Peter, the man, presided over the longest economic expansion in U.S. history.
Peter is heartbroken for obvious reasons, and Lois finally starts giving a shit about how he feels. But it might be a little too late.
Lois, I think maybe it's better if I stay at Quagmire's for a while.
I understand.
Now, if you're wondering, what could be worse than cheating? Well, lusting over a teenage boy, maybe. Stealing Meg's boyfriend. So this time around, Lois thought, why fuck with just Peter's life? And well, she decided to one-up her own daughter. Yep, for once, Meg brings a guy home, and she's pretty nervous about it.
Mom, Dad, is it okay if I invite my new boyfriend over for dinner tonight?
Now, both Peter and Lois feel like something isn't adding up. I mean, given Meg's track record with lovers, they're right to assume that something's wrong. But Meg seems happy, and the new guy is quite a charmer. So while leaving, he drops the classic line to Lois just to impress the girlfriend's mother.
You too, Mrs. Griffin. Thanks for having me over for dinner.
And from this point on, Lois practically starts drooling. She even sneaks up on them while Meg is kissing her new boyfriend, and it's so cringy to watch.
Oh my God, that's kind of hot.
But wait, because it does get worse. When Lois starts dreaming about kissing her daughter's boyfriend. Then Lois finds the most morally gray friend to dump her dilemma, and well, Bonnie basically convinces her to fuck the teenage boy. Lois comes back home, makes up an excuse and sends Meg outside just so that she could be alone with the guy. And wait, it does get creepier. Now the guy Anthony, he's a simp. So he immediately caves because, let's be real, MILFs are definitely not throwing themselves at him every day. And while they're going at it, tongue and everything, Meg enters the room. And well, the tension in the air is thick. So it's pretty obvious that Lois has zero morals, but you wouldn't believe what she did next. Affair with Jerome. This time around, Lois bangs the smooth-talking, saxophone-playing guy for a change. And things went downhill faster than you could possibly imagine. So the mess basically starts with Peter trying to recruit a friend to his group. And he bumps into the super cool guy at the bar. Peter, being his usual dumb self, takes the guy home. And well, Lois immediately recognizes him as her ex-boyfriend.
Hey, Lois, I'd like you to meet our new friend.
Jerome?
Loose Lois.
What? You guys know each other?
Know each other? Peter, Jerome is an old boyfriend of mine.
Her joke about 12 inches didn't do her any good either, because now Peter was both jealous and insecure. And instead of validating his feelings, Lois was interested in, well, being a bitch. So obviously Peter got pissed, and then he burned down Jerome's house. And he also had to let Jerome live with him because Lois wanted it. But let's just say, it was hell for Jerome. And when Peter finally gives Jerome a shut-up call, he starts gaslighting poor Peter into thinking that he had some good intentions. Sure, Bill also had good intentions with Lois.
I want you out of here right now.
I can't believe this. I thought I found a true friend in you. I'd never do anything to hurt you or your family.
Lois once again starts riding Peter over him kicking Jerome out. I mean, the guy already feels terrible about it. Let's let him breathe.
I know you think Jerome was a good guy, but...
No, he was a good guy, Peter, and I'm gonna prove it to you. And you're gonna feel like a real jackass.
And when Peter finally apologizes to Jerome, he confesses on having nasty-ass sex with Meg.
But listen, there is something I gotta fess up to. While I was living with y'all, I had myself lots of nasty-ass sex with Meg.
So Lois basically let a random guy home and let him fuck her daughter. But there's something that Lois does, and that will really make you question if she has ever been a good wife. Resorting to violence. In a move that can only come from Peter's peanut-sized brain, the guy decides to be African American. He would have been canceled for cultural appropriation in the real world, but being Lois's husband is more than enough punishment for him.
Lois, to show I'm in touch with what it's like to be African American, I am going to go to the middle of the town square, get naked, and paint myself brown.
As a result of his wild antics, Lois pounces on him and starts hitting the guy like a bear. And I won't say that he didn't have it coming.
A stupid man!
Ow! You're hurting me! Stop it! Stop it, Lois!
No!
Peter doesn't do much to defend himself, and he's basically just lying there like a whale. And Lois is breaking all laws of domestic violence. The woman has got some serious guts. Now, Lois knows that only a little beating can put Peter back on track. Otherwise, the guy would go borderline crazy and drag everyone else with him too. And this isn't even the first time that Lois has beaten the shit out of Peter, because she has done that before, and only because Peter bought some groceries. Lois has always been, well, a little intense. So even when the two are having fun, Lois somehow manages to bring violence into the equation. It's kind of like this.
I mean it!
Ah! Ah!
Well, I told you to stop.
I tickle you! You hit me in the head with a frying pan?
I told you to stop.
So you know Lois isn't the ideal wife. She's got her flaws, but her heart is always in the right place. This is what I would have said if she didn't actually rape Peter. Raping Peter. The problem starts when Meg's school hires a reverend to teach abstinence to the students because they've been running around a little too wild. And Peter, being Peter, instantly gets impressed by the idea and starts wearing a chastity belt. He also tries to pull the ear sex stunt on Lois, and well, it ends up pissing the hell out of Lois.
I am gonna have regular sex with you whether you like it or not.
No!
I wasn't asking your permission.
At one point, Lois gets so frustrated because, let's be real, a woman has got some needs, and Lois has a lot of them. So she decides to come on to Peter, despite him saying no. She low-key rapes the guy so casually, and it actually feels uncomfortable to watch. Now, imagine if this was the other way around. Peter gets so worked up trying to escape Lois, but she starts riding the guy, and Peter obviously has to give up. So she isn't just a cheating wife, she's actually an assaulter who can't take no for an answer. And the woman has done a lot more questionable things like the next one we're about to see. Seducing Justin Bieber. I blame Peter for this one because he keeps meat riding Lois over her age, trying to make her feel old.
Lois, you may not be the young filly you were when I met you, but you're still my reliable old plow horse.
So, to compensate, Lois goes all out, wearing those racy clothes and attending the Justin Bieber concert.
We love you, Justin!
Peter realizes a little too late that Lois is at the concert, and his ass burns all the way down to hell. He's shocked, but Lois looks pretty happy, so that definitely counts. Lois starts drooling all over the boy, and let's back it up a bit. By the looks of it, Justin is still a teenager, and Lois is a grown woman. So she's lusting over Justin Bieber, and everyone is supposed to think that that's okay? And at this point, Lois has basically left all of her morals and become a twat. It's just as bad as it could get, so she might as well get some fun out of it. For that, she decides to meet Justin, and here's how it goes.
Sorry, you're not allowed in here.
Oh, yeah?
I'm not into that.
So yeah, flashing a random guy just to see a teenager is no big deal, right? Well, wrong, because Justin is literally her daughter's age, and even he knows that. She doesn't even smooth talk the guy and basically gets right to his pants. And before she could commit another crime and rot in hell for eternity, Peter makes an entry.
Stop right there! Get away from her!
Peter?
Who are you?
She should actually thank Peter because he legit saved her ass from becoming a literal pedo. And yet, you won't believe how she treated him. Treating Peter like shit. It's not like Lois is an ideal wife or Peter has high expectations from her. The woman's a menace, but this is not where the torture ends. She's actually a liar and makes Peter believe in anything she says. This one time, Peter actually saw a guy opening her bra, and this is how she spinned the entire story.
Oh, calm down. We're just friends. He's just giving me a friendly massage.
Another time, Peter finds out that his mental health isn't normal, and he's almost retarded.
As you can see, you are just over the line of mental retardation.
Don't you mean just under the line?
His world literally crashes to the ground, and the guy becomes a pile of big sorry mess. But guess how Lois reacts to the situation. If you guessed by being a bitch, then you were right. Even in this Family Guy intro, Peter falls down the stairs and dies apparently, but all Lois could care about is singing her song. Another time, she catches feelings for a girl literally at Target. Lois is the female form of a playboy because she just can't keep it in her pants. In just one interaction, Lois even invites her, and I refuse to believe they'd go out shopping or for brunch. Lois obviously has some other intentions. So not only does Lois not give a shit about Peter, but she keeps on cheating on him and then manipulating him to forgive her over and over. But the next thing she did was peak red flag behavior. Scaring off his friends. Lois wanted Peter to participate more in the house chores, but Peter, being a sloth, straight up refused. And what really pissed Lois off was that Peter was hanging out with his buddies in the attic. The guy has got some guts. Lois straight up told him, "Not in my house," by locking his sorry ass in the attic. The guys got so tired of shouting for help that Peter finally caved and tried sweet-talking his way out. Here's how she reacted.
Lois, let us out of here!
No way! You like it so much? Then you can rot up there with your buddies.
After this, I'm pretty sure Peter's friends wouldn't even look at the attic. And to make it worse, Lois even insulted them when they just came home to pick up Peter.
Where the hell do you think you're going?
I told you, I'm going to the clam with the guys.
Oh, surprise, surprise. Another night out with the losers.
So yeah, Lois isn't a fan of Peter's friends, and she doesn't even try to hide it. The woman literally traumatized all of Peter's friends, including Quagmire, and you know how hard that is. But scaring off Peter's friends doesn't even come close to taking someone's life. Taking a life. In the show, Lois once confessed that she hit an old jaywalker, but she was a walking skeleton, so she doesn't feel sorry for it. But in the show, Lois doesn't even try to hide her violent tendencies. In this scene, Lois is casually going about her day when someone cuts the line. Just then, the serial killer inside her takes the lead, and well, this happens. She literally takes a woman's life for cutting the line. So yeah, Peter has to live with a bloodthirsty bitch who's always lusting for someone else's junk. But this one time, she even got pissed off at Brian. In exchange for that worthless wine, Lois takes Brian to the woods, and that's when I knew something was wrong. The woman literally turned our old good friend Brian into paper, and isn't even sorry about it. So you can imagine how many times she must have tried to kill Peter. It's a miracle the guy is still alive and well. But what Lois does next is the least expected from someone like her. Becoming a drug addict. When Brian was injured, she found the painkillers, and she decided to give it a try. It's not candy, Lois. It's not candy. Well, when she finally tried it, the woman legit lost her mind. Lois felt like she was floating on clouds, and this was the moment she got hooked on those painkillers. So this one time, Brian's painkillers ran out, and the last one accidentally fell into the toilet. Lois absolutely lost her shit. She wasn't thinking straight, and the first thing she saw was Chris, and she grabbed her own son.
Come on, you just touched it!
Lois almost drowns Chris by putting his face in the toilet just so that he can get her pill back. If that isn't hardcore addiction, then I don't know what is. Luckily, Brian enters the room at the right time and saves Chris. But he also puts Lois in a much-needed cage. I mean, why didn't Peter get the same idea? And Lois is such a bad mom that she even tried blackmailing Chris to get her out of the cage. The same Chris that she almost killed a few minutes ago because of some buzz. So, you get what Peter had to put up with, right? But what really crossed the line was when the woman went to prison, just for the kick of it. Stealing and getting imprisoned. Lois decided that sleeping around with random men and also being on crack wasn't quite cutting it anymore. So she decided to steal some clothes. Not because she needed them, but because she liked stealing. And no, this is not a joke. The girl literally stole so much that her car was full of stuff, and she felt a major adrenaline rush. And that's when she decided to take it one step ahead. All this while Peter had no idea what his wife was doing, and by the end of this, he'd be the one lawyering up and paying fines.
Yeah, Lois has been splurging her ass off.
Her entire stealing fetish hit the roof when Brian caught her stealing some auto parts and asked her to come clean.
Lois, you're in an auto parts store stealing mufflers. This is worse than that Winona Ryder thing.
And even in court, Lois couldn't quit her criminal ways. The judge gets so close to giving her community service, but the woman ends up stealing his gavel too.
Where the hell is my gavel?
Peter also made things worse for Lois, and in the end, she got sentenced to 3 years.
3 years in prison?
She seemed pretty psyched to go to prison, while Peter was worried about her and the kids. Let's all agree that Lois could have done better as a wife. But what do you think is the worst thing that Lois has done to Peter? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, because unlike Lois, I promise I won't let you down. See you in the next video.